Hey folks, welcome back to the channel and our series of TerraGroup trial videos, I guess you could call it. It's not really a series, but it is, I guess. Walking you guys through all of the tasks, so hopefully you can get them done. Now, this will be the last one I do. I don't have them done yet, but I'm close enough that I can do videos and walk you guys through them. So that means this one's going to be very comprehensive. It's going to be long. We'll put chapters in, everything you need so you can jump to where you want to go. But hang out with me, even if you think you can't do this, because I think I've got some hints, some tips, and some other stuff that'll make this task line doable, even if you think it's not, as long as you're willing to put the work in. Now, this video is going to cover part 9 and on. If you don't, so that means if you don't have your Bitcoins yet, or if you haven't killed the 10 scavs on each map with your REOF gear, go watch my other videos. I have 2 more before this that covers all of that. This picks up after those. Now, like I said, I spent all week grinding through this. I'm not quite done. I'm trying to kill raiders on part 18, and part 19 is not that difficult. But I got enough info here that we can get you through the rest of it, and we'll start with part 9. Now, I have this pulled up on the wiki just because it's easier to do it here than it is in the game and show you more stuff. And if you have any questions, come to the wiki. All the information is here. They've got great information, so you can use it to your benefit. So part 19 requires you to plant 5 items on 5 different maps. You have to do 2 bottles of Dan Jack Eels on interchange, and this is in the Revis store. I'll show you right now specifically where it is. So it's inside the Revis store, which is right here on the map. Let me open up the full-size image so we can zoom in on it. This is where Attic is, Brutal, Kibba here. So right on the front door, you go in right, it's this little clothing store here. And what you're actually looking for is this clothing rack. It's got some red shirts and stuff on it, and that's where you plant 2 of the whiskeys. After that is the machete, but we'll talk about that last. Next, you got the MDR rifle, which you got to plant in room 302 on customs. That isn't too big of a deal. There's no key needed for it. You just got to get into 3rd story dorms and go into 302 and plant it in there. Then you've got to do the EOTech HHS hybrid sights on woods. These are the black ones. I didn't test the tan ones. People said tan doesn't work. I'm not 100% positive, but you got to go for the black ones. Now, these were selling out, but it doesn't look like they are now. Peacekeeper did just reset. They are expensive if you buy them. Even if you don't, $427 is still like, what is that? 60K rubles almost. You can find them in raid. They are relatively common. You will find them. So keep that in mind if you're trying to make a little bit of money. But you need 2 of them. Now, for a trick, I put them on top of QD mounts. There's a couple things you can do that gets them down to 1 slot, and then you can put them in your secure container. That way, if you die with them, you don't have to worry about losing them. So keep that in mind. And then these get planted on woods inside the violet shack. You got to go up to the bed. There's a bed with a duffel bag. You got to get right up there to plant them. And then you'll be done. You got to do 2 of them. So keep that in mind. And then on reserve, you got to take the GP NVG 18 NVG goggles. These are the really expensive ones. There's a couple of different ways you can get them. Loyalty level 3 barter for a moonshine, or with a 9 level 25 or higher bear tags, both with Peacekeeper. Otherwise, I think you can buy them. I think there are 4 that you buy from him. Yeah, loyalty level 4 you buy from him for $1,390 dollars. So pretty expensive. So keep those in mind for having to do that. And then you plant these in the K buildings on reserve. Building 3. Now, these buildings, they're spray painted on. I'll show you the pictures. So building 3 is this building right here in the K buildings, which is the train yard. So it is the one closest to, let's say, White Bishop, if you will, furthest away from the train yard. In the middle, it has no roof. The roof is collapsed on it. And what you're actually looking for is on the side of the building, it's spray painted 3 if you want. They've got spray paintings on them. I wouldn't look for that. Just go to that specific building. And then this trash pile here, kind of in the middle, is where you're going to plant that. And then you're done there. The last one is the tough one, and it is the SP8 Survival Machete. And this is the one that's got everybody upset. I think rightfully so a little bit. This is pretty tough. Finding this machete is just RNG. You can't barter for it. And buying it on the flea market can be really tough simply because it's really expensive and they sell out quick. You can find them on scavs, raiders, rogues. Rashala's guards have them, Gluhar's guards have them, and they can be in weapon boxes. I have to believe that all of the boss guards, so like Sandy's guards, can spawn with him and stuff like that, though I'm not 100% sure. But I have seen higher level melee weapons on those guards as well, which makes me think that can spawn there too. But the places that I found them the most is Rashala's guards and Gluhar's guards, and that's just because those are the bosses I fight the most over all the time I've been playing Tarkov. Now, the other way to get this, like I said, is buying it. And the easiest way to do this is go down to your handbook down here. You type in SP8 and it'll pull up inside your handbook. I've already got it on my wish list, but you can click here to add it to your wish list. And then when you go to the flea market, it's just sitting right here. This is kind of the list right now I have for this. So I have all of these items added. And all you have to do is, and you can click refresh, or you just hit F5 like every 5 or 6 seconds. And one will eventually pop up. See right there, 7 million. Now, you can buy that if you got the money. Great. If you got the money, awesome. If you don't, you're going to be in tough shape. I have seen them sell anywhere from 100,000 all the way up to like 15, 16, 17 million rubles. So you're going to need some cash, but you can get it this way. Just keep that in mind. It's just a bit of luck and quick clicking because they pretty much sell really quick. Oh, there's one for 20 million. So as you can see, they're going for a lot of money. Now, you're not done once you get it. There is another item that is stacked on top of this that makes it even just as difficult. And that is you need the pump station front door key or back door key. And what that does, those keys open up a little room that you've probably never even thought about if you're kind of newer to Tarkov. This pump station room is right here. And what this is there's 2 doors, front and back, and you get in there and you plant right at the desk. Now, the issue with these keys, again, is they don't come up all that much. You can sit here and hunt on the flea market for them. I think I bought mine for, it might have been 1 million rubles or 500,000. I don't remember. I caught them a couple of days ago. They're not super rare though. Yeah, see, there's one for 500,000 right there that you could get. You can get either or. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Either key will work. They do show up in jackets on customs and factory, so you can go look for it that way, or just sit here and refresh and try to buy it off the flea market. So now once part 9 is done, you can move on to part 10. Yes, 11, 12, 13, all of those are mixed in here, but we'll talk about those in a second. Let's get through 9 and 10 first. Part 10 requires you to, one, get a Sanitar's bag, which isn't too bad. I'll show you right now. They've gotten a lot cheaper. They were a lot more expensive for a bit. They were like 1 million, but they're even gotten cheaper today since I've been looking at them. They were like 500,000. Now they're 400,000. So it's not too bad. You don't necessarily need to go get it from Sani yourself. You can just buy it off the flea for a decent amount of money if you have that. But what you need to do is you need to kill 30 entities, 30 targets with a VSS inside the car dealership area. Now, I want to get very specific on the map here. This is saying the kill area is this big. I did not confirm this kill area myself. But what I did do is I killed scavs inside Lexos, inside construction. I even killed one in the parking lot of Sparja right here. And then I killed several in this courtyard area, which is inside the yellow box, obviously, and all of those counted. But it looks like the area is huge. I didn't check to see any that I killed in Cinema or even by the other Sparja grocery store that's over here. But it looks, this kill area, I would trust it. The wiki guys do pretty good. I just can't tell you I verified it myself. So you don't have to kill stuff inside Lexos, which is good. Now, this task, I wouldn't bring your bag in the first time. I would wait to get your 30 kills, reset, and then bring your bag in so you don't have to worry about losing it. But you do need the Lexos car dealership closed section key, which is a key that has been near impossible to get. I have not seen it pop up on the flea market myself yet. I haven't looked for it a ton. I got let in by somebody to go plant it, a friend of mine, which I was lucky. And we'll talk about later other ways to get into these rooms, kind of grouped together with this and green key card. But you do need to get in there, and you might get lucky. You can go into raid and just kind of hang out and hide and see if somebody opens that up. I have seen that happen a couple of times on raids now, unrelated to doing this task, where the cage was opened up by somebody else, and you could use that, hang out and wait for that to happen. Now, once you get in there, you're going to plant it by these boxes. They're on the far side, opposite of where you walk in. There's just some crates with a tarp over it. That's where you're going to plant the bag. And then you're done with 10. Now, we talked about this a little bit already. Part 11, 12 are going to be failed if you already have the transmitter for Lightkeeper. If you don't, this is how you get the transmitter. But 13 has to be done by everybody, even if you have it. And that's pretty straightforward. You go to green room, as we call it, streamer room, some people call it. And that is on customs, all the way over in the warehouse district over here. If you're looking at the map, it's this building here. It's the USEC. There's a USEC cache in there, some keys. Up on the second floor, there's a green room, as people call it. It's got a green screen and stuff. And the thumb drive can spawn on this bench or on this desk right next to it, either or. Then you extract with that, you give it to mechanic. The quest will not be complete because you still need to, as it says here, visit the lighthouse building, but that'll happen with the next part of this. It doesn't give you part 14. Part 14, you have to go to Lightkeeper to get. So when you go out there, you're going to finish 13, and then you speak to Lightkeeper. For some of you, this might be the first time you do it, so it'll be interesting. He's on the 3rd floor. You open the door, you walk in, and he's right there. He gives you a task, and this is the second hardest task. The first hardest task in all of this is the SP8, in my opinion. This is the second hardest because it requires you to get into green room and black room on labs. There are 3 things you have to pick up there. You have to pick up Regent containers 1, 2, and 3, right? One's in green, one's in black, and the other one is kind of in the middle of the lab. Let's see how good the map shows it right here. Yeah, Regent 1 is on these desks in the lab area. So this is where the manager's office is. There's some like machinery and desks and stuff. It's the big open area. Down on the 1st floor, there's a bunch of desks over on this side. It's sitting on kind of the middle desk right here. I don't know if they do a better zoomed in picture of it, but it's just this vertical cylinder looking thing like that. Again, this is all on the wiki. You can go look at closer pictures if you want. In black keycard room, it is in between on the right as you walk in where these computers are. It's right next to the keyboard, or whatever this thing is. It's not really a keyboard, but kind of control device. And then in green keycard room, it is in the back right kind of corner area. Like this is the front door over here where you come in. You walk up over here and it's in this corner, right next to that human organ container. Now, for getting into these rooms, you've got a couple options. You can have a green key card. You can have a buddy who has a green key card. Maybe you can find a streamer. I don't have one, who's doing runs and letting people in, which there are out there. The other option you have is to go into the official Discord or the Sherpa hub. Now be polite in these places. Don't go in there and blow it up. There are people doing 5-man runs on labs, on streets, even factory, letting people in these rooms because they have the keys. So make sure you show respect, get in there, get in line, do your turn, and you can do that. The other option is if you don't want to do any of that, you can go into labs and just hang out, find a bathroom, hide till there's like 10 minutes left in the raid, or you think everybody's gone, and hopefully somebody has opened these rooms for you. Now black gets opened almost every time because it's a good room to loot. It's got a lot of stims and stuff in there, potential LEDX spawns, so it almost always gets looted. Green, however, is not. I did a couple of raids just going into labs and waiting. It was never open for me. I was fortunate enough that I had a viewer in chat that was willing to take me in there, and that's how I got in. Yeah, I know, streamer privileges, streamer tasks. We've heard it all already. Save it. Now, black keycard is within reach if you want to get it. You have to have level 4 mechanic, but there is a barter. This barter costs anywhere from 2 to 3 million rubles. It hasn't been running out, so you should be able to get it, and you can get the keycard and do that yourself. So if you get in, you get all your items, you're through, you have to take them back out to Lightkeeper and turn them into him. Now, if I didn't get a close spawn, I did spawn once with these items next to Path to Shoreline. I just reset. I wasn't going to work my way all the way across the map and risk dying. I just took the early extract, whatever it was called, the run through, and reloaded. And the next map I had the close run. I ran out to Lighthouse and I gave him the Lightkeeper and completed the task. And that's pretty much it. From here, it's pretty much downhill, guys. The rest of these tasks are not too hard after this. They're a little grindy, but there's no crazy gatekeeping keys or anything like that. 15 does have a key, but it's buyable. It's also findable. It's not as bad as the others. And 15 is pretty straightforward. You need to go to Woods. You got to go to Scav Bunker, which we'll just pull this map up here for sake of ease. It's the top left of the map, if you will. Scav Bunker, it's got the radio antenna. This is USEC camp. It's this big cell phone tower, radio tower. You go down into the bunker. And down on there's kind of a couple spawns. You got to look around, but they're bookshelf. They can be on the table, on the bed, and on the couch. There's these thumb drives that you got to pick up. Once you get those thumb drives, there's 2 of them, 1 and 2. Get out a raid. Now, what I did so that I didn't have to worry about getting both thumb drives, you can do this or you not. There's a little trick where you can go into your character screen, go to tasks, and these task items sit on the right. You can take these out of your inventory so you can go into raid and not lose them if you die. So I took the number 1 out. The number 1 is for labs. Number 2 is for lighthouse. So I go in, I take my number 2, and you've got to go up to the chalet, up top on the mountain. That's where you got to take number 2. And on the main floor, on the table, the desk, kitchen table, dining room table, whatever you want to call it, there is a laptop and some communication stuff. This is where you plant the thumb drive. And that's it. You get out. And the next one you have to take to labs, and you have to take it to the manager's office. This is that office that's kind of floating in the middle. It's not floating, it's supported, but it's up there in the middle. It's one of the most dangerous places in labs, and it requires a key. I jumped ahead here a little bit. The labs manager's office room key. Now, I bought mine off the flea market for about 1,000,000 rubles. They've been cheaper. They've been a lot more expensive. Let me get to the wish list here. As you can see, there's a ton of them listed. This is good. So you see how there's a bunch of them listed? That means people aren't buying them, and they're probably going to progressively get cheaper and cheaper. I spent about 1,000,000. Now you can find these all over labs. I'll leave it to the wiki for you guys. You guys can go look on the wiki for the labs manager's key. I'll just quick click on it here. If you go to the page, it shows you a couple places around the labs where you can find them. You can also find them in jackets and drawers. I've got them out of scav cases. I always get a dozen or so a wipe, and I just vendor them, usually is what I do. But they are much more easy to find than others because they do have fixed spawns. Or again, get somebody to run you through if you can, or buy the key. And then obviously once you get into lab managers, you got to go to the far desk and plant in there, which just sucks because you're super exposed up here. It's easy to see you. And it's just dangerous. So it's something you're going to want to wait till the end of the raid, or if you're an Uber chat after you've cleared the map. And that's 15. 15's done. And once you finish 15, it's going to unlock 16, 17, and 18 for you all at the same time. You can do them in any order you want. We'll just go through them in numerical order. So 16 is you got to find 10 found in raid Obdabalos ends, the new ones, right? But they got to be found in raid. And you got two places to get those. You can get them on Shoreline by the truck. This is the same one you had to get earlier on, whatever it was, task 2 or 3 or whatever it was that didn't have to be found in raid. So you get them on the weird scavs by the truck, on Shoreline, or in the village on Lighthouse. I did Lighthouse because it was a much faster, in my opinion, to get this done. If I spawned far away, most of the time I just reset. Sometimes we'd push across the map. I did get lucky. Sometimes you go down there and the scavs will all be dead and you'll still find one in their pocket. So you can get them as scavs. I did get a couple on a scav run. For me, I was just doing quick runs. Run down in there, kill the scavs. I got lucky on quite a few and got 2 out of a raid, and just grind out the 10, turn them into therapist, and be done. And that's pretty much it. Part 17. Let me go back here. Part 17, even easier. You need to take a Wi-Fi camera to reserve and go down into the cages bunker. This is the bunker over by the hermetic door underground over here. The entrances on either side, you can get down there. And then you need to go all the way to the back of the bunker, all the way to the far side. And there's a forklift kind of down a ramp. And that's where you need to plant the Wi-Fi camera. Now it is contested. Reserve has been dead all wipe. It is a PvP madhouse right now for many reasons. The next quest involved being a big part of it, but this as well. So just be careful. If you can get the close spawn and just sprint down there really quick, great. Get it planted, get it out of the way, bring friends with if you can, and be done with it. And that's 18. Now you can combine 18 and 19. 18 and that was 17. You can combine 17 and 18. 18 requires you to wear RUAF gear, just like 8. Remember when you did 8, you had to wear RUAF gear? Same deal here. You got to wear that and have an RUAF weapon, and you got to kill 25 raiders. So raiders spawn on reserve. It's not as consistent as labs, but you could potentially do a couple at the same time and get them out. For me, I'm going to be doing them on labs, just trying to get a few here and there as I can. Each raid, run in, get a couple of kills, get out with the gear that you want to specifically. Just remember, it has to be Russian armor, Russian helmet, Russian gun. That's it. Everything else can be whatever. And that's what I'm on. I'm on this right now, and I'm going to finish this today and get on to 19. Now, 19 is the interesting one. This is the last one. This is the finale of these tasks. And I don't think there's any more coming. There's going to be more events coming eventually before wipe. We'll talk about that in a sec. But 19 is the last one, and this requires you to go to Shoreline at night, which means between 2200 and 05. So you can load in at like 2150 and get into the raid in 2200 and you'll be fine. But if you load in at like, let's say 0445 and you get into like 5:15 game time, this task won't work for you. You have to be in that middle window. So make sure you watch your clock very specifically. So you get into Shoreline, you got to kill 7 targets. That means it can be cultists, scavs, player scavs, the bosses, the goons and stuff over by the cottages if you want. Anything counts. You just got to kill 7 targets. Then you need to go to the lighthouse, which is all the way on the middle of the map down on the ocean. This big tall tower out here is a lighthouse. And go up on top of that and shoot off a yellow flare. You can do it with a pistol, you can do it with a handheld flare, either works. But make sure you go up to the tower because the flare itself has to reach a certain elevation. This is some other Lightkeeper quests have done the same thing, but don't get everything else right and screw this part up. In fact, it probably wouldn't hurt to bring an extra yellow flare with you just in case you do screw it up. You can get it. You have a second chance at it. You shoot off that yellow flare, you're going to get a little indicator that you got it done, and then you got to survive an extract. So maybe you're lucky and dock's open, or you can head over to customs depending on what side of the map you came from. And this has to be done in one raid. If you die or you do 2 parts and leave, I guess you can't do 2 parts and leave. If you kill 7 things and then die or extract the raid, it'll reset. This has to be done in a single raid. And once complete, you will get 2 inventory slot stash lines added probably permanently. You will redeem these through the Escape from Tarkov website, similar to how you do Christmas stuff. And that tells me it's just going to be permanent. It's going to be there forever. So every wipe, you can do it on this account. Now for the last part, we'll switch back to our cool little background screen here and do a little chitter chatter. How long do you have to do this? I don't know. I don't think they're wiping this weekend, so more than a couple of days. There is the Obdabalos N theory, where it has the amount of damage it does to you is 1,008, which is 1008, which could be the 10th of August, because the way they do dates in Europe is different. America's the only one that does the dates the way we do, I guess. So that would be Thursday, of course, but that could just be a troll. It could be before that. It could be after that. We don't know. I think you're going to have about a week. I think wipe's going to be sometime next week or very shortly thereafter. It might be the week after that, for various reasons. Personal things like game. I don't think there's Gamescom in Germany and they're going to that. I think they'll do the wipe before that. I don't think they'll wait till after. And then just with the lineup of the events and everything else, and then the stim, right? All those point to it. There is the theory that it's going to be at the end of the month because of the rating screen has that timer on there, which points to August 31st. But I think that's just a placeholder. I don't think that's pointing to wipe. So that means you have about a week to do this. Now, the most hardcore streamers, the people that really grinded through this, they were able to get this done in about 4 to 5 days of pushing through this. So use that as a timer based on where you're at kind of now. Some of these you're going to be able to do faster because they are getting easier to do, just because things are more available. They're on the flea. You can buy them. All of that kind of stuff. It's going to get easier as we go on. The SP8, I do think, if that's what's holding you up, keep grinding. Just keep going. Go get your 10 found and raid Obdabalos stims if you can, and try to find your other keys that you need for the task. And once we get closer to wipe, I do believe we're going to see like all bosses 100% spawn kind of thing, which will give you a much better chance to get the SP8 and grind through the rest of the tasks. Things like that are going to happen, I believe. Or just grind money to buy the SP8, and maybe you get lucky and find it on a scav or in a green crate. But this is only if you want to do it. I had a lot of fun doing the tasks. The reward isn't even the biggest reason for doing. The way this interchange was PvP Central, Reserve, and Shoreline, which are usually dead maps for the last half of wipes. The only people there are people questing and avoiding PvP. So if you're after PvP, you can completely ignore the events and still have a blast with this stuff because the game has really changed right now. So just take that for what it is worth. If you want to go after it, you can for sure do it. And that's pretty much all I got. I think we'll wrap her up there. I hope this video is helpful. I hope this helps you get to it if you want to get there, and helps you get some of the tasks done, or got you a little information that maybe makes you a little bit of money in the game before wipe happens. So if you're here, I have to imagine you like the video, so make sure you hit that like button. Also, a quick shout out to my music. It's on the video. It's what I listen to on stream. It's free. It supports me. It's also available for other content creators to use free. They don't have to pay for it. You can listen to it on stream. You can use it in your videos. No DMCA takedowns or copyright strikes. That's what it's there for, is to share for everybody to use. All I ask is that you attribute us in your description or your wherever. Let people know that you're using it, just so that it helps us out on that end. But that's it. Again, I hope the video was helpful. Thank you guys for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your raids, especially if you're hunting that SP8. And we'll see you in Tarkov.